First up in this week's shootout is the Vauxhall VXR8, the four-door saloon with a Corvette V8. It produces 411 bhp and 550 Newton-meters of torque. It gets to 60 miles an hour in a shade under 5 seconds and has a top speed of over 170. A genuine four-seater rocket ship for 35 grand. But it wasn't the first of its kind. We wanted to see whether the VXR8 was as good as its spiritual predecessor, the iconic Lotus Carlton. Like the VXR, it gets to 60 in 5 seconds and has a top speed of 177. When it was launched in 1990, it caused outrage. Everyone complained about the family car with supercar speed, from safety groups to the police. So, which super saloon is quickest? We'll start with the youngster. 6 litres in a big, fat, hairy, rear-wheel drive car. I am in heaven. This VXR8 has got 40 brake more than the Lotus Carlton, and it weighs 200 kilograms more, and it feels a big, heavy car. But I can still make it dance like a little sports car. Only hooligans need apply. It has got traction control for those feeling a little bit whack, whack, whack. But for the rest of us with big hairs on their chests, traction off equals rear end out. The lovely V8 engine has got so much grunt all the way through its rev range. It peaks at about 6,000 RPM. But right up until that, it's just pure power. The steering wheel is on the large side of things, but it does mean that you can go sideways one-handed. Let's see how fast it is once you stop showboating. Start the clock. So, into the first corner. Tyres squealing down, using the big brakes. Oh, the rear end wants to slide out. Up the gears, into third. Now flat out. Fourth gear, 100 miles an hour, 5,000 RPM, 120 miles an hour. Onto the brakes, please stop. Yes, you do. Second gear, turn in. The VXR8 crosses the line in 1 minute 29.7. Time for the Lotus Carlton. This fantastic car was built in an era when General Motors owned both Vauxhall and Lotus, and some very bright and clever spark decided to give the old fuddy-duddy Carlton to Lotus to see what they could do. And they duly took the 3-litre engine and made it into a 3.6-litre one, slapped on 2 turbochargers and mated it to a heavy-duty Corvette gearbox. And did anyone think about putting traction control to rein in that 377 brake horsepower? Nope, never even gave it a thought. Even though this car is lighter than the VXR8, somehow it feels a bit heavier. The steering takes a bit more effort to turn. The clutch is longer and a bit heavier. The gear lever is longer. The brakes need a bit more effort to stop. But it still puts a massive smile on my face. When I started out as a road tester 15 years ago, this was the car that I really lusted after. And here I am 15 years later driving it. This car may be old, but it is still enormous fun. Anyway, time for a quick lap. Start the clock. Come on, old girl. she's losing grip.
At time check number 1, the VXR8 has half a second lead on the Carlton.
I do feel like I'm having to work this car more than the Vauxhall. Go on, old girls, stick in, get in, get in, get in.
At time check 2, the Carlton has clawed back a tenth, but it crosses the line in 1 minute 31.3, 1.5 seconds behind the VXR8.